Hey there, it's Giovanni, co-founder of Swiftline Capital, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through step-by-step how to get access to anywhere from 50 to 250K in 0% interest capital for your business. And the best part about this is whether you've been in business for decades or just starting out and haven't even filed your first tax return yet, you still qualify for this. One of the biggest reasons that businesses fail is due to lack of capital. Now, imagine not having to deplete all of your cash or commingle your personal and business funds to operate your business and keep afloat. If you do this once, you can rinse and repeat this process over and over again without ever having to show proof of income, provide any collateral, and not to have to impact your personal credit score to do so in the process. Now, this one simple method has allowed my partner and I to save over 6 figures on our own real estate projects as a result of not having to touch any of our own cash flow to fix and furnish our own properties while allowing them to pay for our investment over time. Now, you're probably wondering, what is 0% funding? How does it work? And what are the requirements? Over the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you why this is the best funding strategy that any business could utilize in our current economy. To start, 0% interest funding means that you will not owe any interest for a fixed period of time. That could typically range anywhere from 12 to 18 months. This is going to be accessed through specialized credit cards that are offered to businesses by banks. Meaning, for example, if you have a 15-month 0% interest credit card, what that means is that for 15 months, you wouldn't owe any interest at all. And you can start to pay it off as you start to get money coming in. Now, this one single method allows you to avoid the old ways of growing your business without having to get high interest loans from the bank, give up any equity to get funding from investors, and without ever having to run up your personal credit cards just to get by. Traditional bank loans have a standard interest rate, which does not come at 0%. Bank loans will also require you to pay interest on them month one, regardless of if you have sales coming in or not. Whereas with a 0% interest credit card, you have anywhere from 12 to 18 months. For context, these funds can be used on whatever working capital you would like. Equipment, inventory, renovation, the list goes on and on. And it doesn't report or impact on your personal credit profile and score, allowing you to keep your personal and business separate. Lucky for you, this is a smoother and cheaper path because you can even be a brand new LLC and still qualify for this without having to jump through the hoops and hurdles. Another thing with traditional bank loans is that they require 2 years of tax returns. Now, if you're a brand new business who wants to grow and get access to capital, this puts you in a bit of a bind because you just wouldn't simply meet the criteria from the jump. Now, because 0% capital is essentially the best type of funding that you can access within the market, there are specific requirements beyond just a good credit score, regardless of who you are and the type of business that you have. Some key factors that impact your funding odds include how your entity is set up, the classification, the state that you're in. Do not make the mistakes that I'm about to share below. If there is inconsistency in your addresses, your EIN, your LLC, among all of the credit cards and credit bureaus that you've actually had in the past, then these can raise some red flags. And so the first thing that we want to do is clean this up. Optimizing your profile before we even begin funding steps is going to be crucial because if you were to just submit info by yourself, this can be the difference in tens of thousands of working capital at 0% interest that you could be missing out on just as a result by not doing this. So do not make the mistake of applying by yourself before making sure that everything is optimized in a specific way for what is needed and required for lenders and underwriters. It's not worth the risk of trying to do this by yourself when you could just get rejected or approved for very minimal amounts, which again can be the difference of tens of thousands of dollars. But no need to worry because we take all of these tedious steps off of your plate and handle them with you to make sure that you are set up in the best standing as a funding candidate. We know the exact special criteria that banks are really looking for beyond just a good credit score that they don't always tell you. As a result, we know how to get you access to the highest amounts. So the first step that we're going to take is to optimize your credit profile to match exactly what the lenders and underwriters are requiring in order to get you funding and approved for the highest limits. But what we've also noticed, even with ourselves, if we were to just go online by ourselves and apply for any sort of funding, whether it may be for a loan or a card, then you're really just a number getting plugged into a large automatic system. And what we've seen is instead of just getting plugged into a standardized system, but rather having a relationship with people that we know, like, and trust in our own network that can actually be there to assist with adjusting how things are submitted in the application process has resulted in 2 to 3 times more approved funding rather than someone just applying by themselves online. Now, by leveraging our network that knows, likes, and trusts us, we're able to even triple the amount that you could simply get versus just applying by yourself. Once you've unlocked this process, you'll be able to rinse and repeat yearly to access thousands at 0% and have the confidence of never having to go back to traditional banking methods or having to rely on anyone ever again. Now, some quick housekeeping items that are needed to secure max funding are: you must have at least a 700 plus credit score. You must have an established credit age of at least 3 years. And finally, no negative marks on your credit profile. Collections, bankruptcy, that sort of thing. Lastly, to recap, the businesses that don't have success with getting the funding that they're looking for come down to the following. Their personal credit profile is not optimized, meaning it doesn't tick the boxes that banks want to see to feel as confident to give you the funds that you want. They simply don't understand the underwriting criteria that banks are actually looking for. Their business info isn't fully congruent across the board. They don't have internal banking connections. They don't understand which bureaus the bank is actually going to pull from. They don't understand the correct sequence and the correct order to apply for these cards. They don't have a strategic game plan for funding to be able to rinse and repeat. Failing to have proper preparation for this will result in very low approvals, denials, and lowering your credit score in the process. Lucky for you, we're here to guide you step by step through this process and give you the control to secure the funding that you're needing over and over again. We'll even show you how to extend the 0% term as much as 3 to 5 years to make sure that you can continuously keep a 0% balance for your investments as the business grows. All that we ask is that you show up in a nice quiet area with something to take notes with. So that way we can leave you with a solid game plan. Talk soon.